Okay, we are live with the beautiful Brandie Paulson.
Good morning.
um, while people are coming on here, I just let you guys know this is recorded, so you guys can watch this back. So we're gonna go ahead and jump right into it, so it's not too much time. But Brandie and I have known each other for quite a long time. I would say, I think it was 2009, 2010,
Yep. So about
around.
10 years.
Yep, about around there. She did boot camp through her place of work at the time, and I was coaching that. So that's how we met, and we kind of reunited when Derek and I started our stuff up online. So now you've been with us now currently since I think 2018.
Yes.
I was looking at past emails actually, like trying to figure out exactly when. So it's been awesome. So tell us a little bit about yourself, like where you're from, what you do, your family.
Okay. So currently I live in Fremont, Michigan. In 2014, I moved back up here because of my husband. Um, and it was definitely a struggle when I first moved home. I left all of my friends in Indiana. I left a job that I loved in Indiana. So it was definitely a big struggle. I packed on the weight, even for our wedding. And probably about 4 years ago, I decided to start cutting my calories. And I was eating probably 1,000 calories a day to lose weight. And I dropped 30 pounds just like that, and I felt great, but I missed working out. So you and I had been friends on Facebook this whole time. And I saw your post and I reached out to you and I decided to join the group and kind of stayed in the background for a while. I've got 3 kids. 2 of them we have 7 on, 7 off in the summertime and every other weekend in the school year. And then we have our youngest son is my son, and we have him all the time. I work full time, 45 minutes out of the house or away from home. And so I have a commute every day. I coach soccer for our youngest son's team. The other 2 kids do sports also. So I'm a taxi for right now until they're old enough to drive. So I've got a busy schedule.
Yes, you do. You have your hands full, and
Yes.
that's one of the things too. Before we get into the next thing here, if you guys have any questions or comments, please put them up below, and we'll get to them. I can see your comments here. And there was Kimberly. Hey, Kim. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into it. So with you being super busy, that is one thing that I do hear a lot, and I understand we're all busy. What would you say when you first started with us, right? Compared to when you first started to when you started kicking yourself in the booty a little bit, what was a mindset shift that you experienced, or what kind of did it for you? So maybe start with like when you first started with us, what were you telling yourself? What was your self-talk? What were you telling me?
So I didn't join the DFG right away. I was making my own workouts. I really liked weightlifting. So everything was weightlifting, weightlifting, weightlifting. But it was when I had time. And I was not about to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to work out before work. I need my sleep or I'm a grumpy person. So I didn't have time. My goal was 3 times a week to work out. That didn't happen. And then during soccer season, we have 2 2-hour practices during the week. We traveled on the weekends for games. So there wasn't time during soccer season. That's what I told myself. And, you gave me a lot of tough love during those times. And it was, well, you need to make time. You need to make time for yourself. You need to make yourself a priority. And that's just something I didn't do. Like most moms, felt very guilty when I would say, nope, this is my me time. I need my me time. And I felt horrible. I should be spending time with my family. I should be doing this with the kids, or I should be cleaning the house or doing yard work. So I made a lot of excuses before I decide to kick my butt into gear.
Yes. Then I think, again, it's not just you. I really think that's normal. I went through it too with school. If I had a busy semester, I wouldn't, go work out and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I remember since we know each other so well, I remember a lot of our conversations, and that was one of them was with sports. You know, you didn't have that time not only to work out, but then also on the flip side, I know you probably remember this. Is there tapping on your end, by the way?
I do hear it.
Okay, it's only when I talk. Also with the cooking. So I remember you told me that you didn't know how to cook or you couldn't cook. And this is something that I do hear, you know, here and there, but that's one thing that no one knows how to cook anymore. Like you don't grow up cooking anymore, right? So no one knows how to cook. I think that's one big mindset shift a lot of times for people is I don't know how to cook, but that's why we have recipes. So you can follow that. Do you have any kind of advice for like someone that feels like they don't have time to cook or even meal prep?
So
Or
I was afraid to cook. I was afraid to cook meat because I thought I wasn't going to cook it enough, and I killed my family. That true story. I wasn't raised cooking. My mom didn't cook a lot. My grandma cooked a lot, but she didn't let us in the kitchen, so I didn't learn how to cook. So probably a year ago, January 2019, I really decided, okay, I'm going to meal prep. I'm going to learn how to do this. And I chose simple recipes out of the DFG. And my go-to, even now when I don't have a lot of time, is to just bake some chicken breast with some broccoli and Tajin and cut it up into 4-ounce servings. Like I cut my meat up into 4-ounce servings and then I add some broccoli to it. That is my go-to because every other Sunday we are very busy with church stuff. So that's still my number one meal. That's still my go-to. I already have chicken waiting in the fridge for me to cook that. That's my number one. The pineapple shrimp, that was so easy. Steve loved it. Wasn't my favorite, but he loved it. And it was a nice change for him to get him to eat because I noticed if I cook the same thing all the time, he tends to not want to eat the meal prep, and then he's going out to eat and I catch him. So, you know, choose recipes that are simple and easy for you that you're going to like. The fajita oven baked chicken. So good. One of my top favorites still.
And that's one of the things I tried. If people are struggling, I send them recipes to try, and those you just listed a few there. I think a big takeaway is to use the tools that we do have, and they are affordable too on purpose. And so going off, you said you make 4 ounces of chicken, you know, broccoli, and you make a balanced meal. You make a macronutrient balanced meal. How did you learn macronutrients so then you could build a meal like that? What's your tip on starting? Because there's a lot of people who get overwhelmed, confused, they don't understand.
I have been logging my food in MyFitnessPal since before I joined Team Schmidt Fit. That was always a big tool, but I went strictly based off calories. So when I became a part of Team Schmidt Fit, you gave me my macros and I just stick with them. I don't know that I've ever really learned how to calculate my macros, but I log it and look in Team Schmidt Fit and I know that's, or in MyFitnessPal, and I know that I'm in my range and where I need to be is strictly because I'm tracking my food and I'm looking and I'm checking and I'm pre-logging it now.
Yes.
That's something I started doing. So I know that at the end of the day, oh, look, I've got macros left to use up. I'm going to have me some fancy Greek yogurt. So that, I mean, you help me set my macros. And then when I was building a lot more muscle and I was a lot hungrier, you reevaluated my macros and I can eat even more now. That's great.
Yes, exactly. And so that's a perfect explanation. I think we overthink macronutrients. We are used to tracking that one number of calories. All it is just now 3 numbers that you have to hit, and you get those by logging everything that you consume. Period. End of story. And I do believe, and I don't know if you've ever had this mindset, maybe it shifted for you, but I do think a lot of times people think tracking or logging their food means restriction. do you feel that way with macronutrients? Maybe you felt that way with calories, but with like what we do, you
Definitely felt that way with calories when I was just going off of hitting or staying under a certain number of calories. But with my macronutrients, I don't feel that way. I'm able to eat a little bit of everything. Like last week, there was a lot of birthdays at work, and my boss always buys a cake. Well, I had a piece of cake. The next day, it was another person's birthday. They had sugar cookies the size of your hand with buttercream frosting. I had myself a cookie. I mean, I adjusted. I hit my protein. I made sure to hit my protein those 2 days. Wednesday, I took Taylor out for ice cream. I underate that day just because I was busy working in the yard and I wasn't going to engorge myself right before bed, but I made sure to hit my protein. I always try to make sure to hit my protein, even if I know I'm going to overindulge in something.
And that's a great example. I give you thumbs up because that's a great example of why we do macronutrients is, and I think a lot of times why people yo-yo is because they don't allow themselves a piece of cake during the week here and there. You don't eat cake every single day, but at work, someone brought in some cake. You tracked that, made sure you hit your protein, and you more than likely stayed within your calorie range that we set for you. Yes. And you knew to do that because you've listened to us and Team Schmidt Fit talk about it on repeat for 2 years now. And then also that's just the tools we have in the daily feel good. So it's like everything that we always talk about, it's the same song and dance because it's not a fad diet. It's literally lifestyle. You were able to have that cake and you are continuing and you still got results last week.
Yes.
You did your check-in with me and you still got results.
Yeah, I still ended up losing a quarter inch of my waist. I didn't lose any weight, but I lost a quarter inch of my waist, and that's great.
Yes.
I'll take that any day.
It is amazing. I've loved seeing you progress. And let's go ahead and take it to that then point with focusing on just the scale only. A lot of times I think we weigh ourselves every day, maybe, or even every week, and that can mess with our mindset if we're not losing the weight that we want. You just sent me those different photos, and you can see in your physique that you've really tightened up, toned up. You can see your muscles popping through more, but like you said, your weight hasn't changed immensely. So I don't know if you wanted to go into that, because I do think we would kind of get hung up on the scale in the beginning, but that's definitely shifted with you.
Yeah. So I've always been more of the personality that I don't want to be skinny. I don't want to look skinny. I want to look muscular. That's always been my goal. But at the same time, man, I really wanted that number on the scale to go down so bad. There was actually, I want to say last summer, there was a post that a member had made, and it was her transformation, and it was an amazing transformation. I was so proud of her. But at the same time, she was talking about how at her heaviest, she was about 174 pounds and how overweight and everything she was. And that just hit me all the wrong way because I was 175 pounds at that time and thought, well, man, if she thought she was so fat, then what am I? And I had to take a step back in the group and really look at myself and look at how honest I was being with myself, with what I was putting in my mouth, my workouts, if I was using all the tools that Team Schmidt Fit gave me. And I stopped weighing myself for months. Like I would go 2-3 months, weigh myself to see where I was at, take all of my measurements, and not just of my bust, my waist, and my hips. I would do my biceps and my thighs and see where I was at. And then it just, the whole mindset finally started to change. It's not the number on the scale that's going to define me. I could weigh 170 pounds, but be toned as heck, and you wouldn't even guess that's how much I weighed, because we all have a different body style and shape, and we all carry our weight so differently. I'm short. I'm about 5'3", and I'm built to carry more muscle. I'm not built to look thin and slender, and I'm okay with that now.
Yes. And that's a few good points there. I'm saying we have the same kind of body type. You know that. I think a few things I like.
Yeah.
I remember this instance when this happened. I do remember talking to you about this. And one of the biggest things, we are our own biggest, like, we pick ourselves apart. So in this journey, I think the biggest thing is to remember that it's for ourselves. And we're doing it for us and not to compare to where someone else is at or what their body type is or whatever. If we can focus on getting better a little bit each day, in like you said before, actually being honest with ourselves, with our actions, results will come. Just because you weigh a certain number on the scale isn't going to change what the plan that we have set out together. Because I didn't set your macronutrients to make you gain weight. I didn't set, the workouts to make them suck or something. What we have planned will work if you are honest and if your mind is right to do it for you. So I think that was another big shift for sure when it's almost like you were just not comparing anymore in a way, and I love that. So with that, I feel like as we've continued on, I want to go over some planning, organization, and how that's helped you with your results, because I know your journal is beautiful and you log and just all the colors. So go over, if you want, briefly what you do and any kind of recommendations for ladies for planning, organizing, things like that.
So one big thing that I started doing last year, and it was a big struggle last year, I set a goal for how many workouts I wanted to get in the year. That goal for last year was 200 workouts. By August 13th, I just logged 100 workouts because I had all those excuses. And you see when I take pictures and I post them in the group, I'll say workout whatever of my goal. That's how many workouts I've done this year. So last year in August, we had done a challenge to kind of get ready for school and the mindset and what we needed to do. And that's when I got my butt in gear and I started working out in the morning and joining the morning crew with Peacock. And man, logging those workouts, seeing that number, when I hit 100, I was like, oh, maybe I'll make it by the end of the year. And I got 226 workouts in by December 31st. So this year, I got one of the happy planners because I like to be colorful, you guys. And I set my goal for 250 workouts this year. And today I just did 206. So from last year to this year, I'm 100 workouts ahead. I always end up logging, you probably can't see, but you guys see my pictures. I log my workouts, how long it took me to do the GFG, how many calories my Fitbit says I burn. I log my sleep because I'm working on getting more sleep. I will log my daily devotions that I'm trying to do every day. And I write out my food in my planner. I'm not just logging it in my Fitness Pal. I'm taking it one step more and writing out my times, because there was a time earlier this year where I was, I went to Lindsay. I was eating 2,000 calories a day and going 200 grams of protein a day because I was hungry. And I couldn't control the food going in my mouth, even though it was all whole foods and it was good for me. I was still overeating. So I needed to start tracking my hours of when I was eating. And I could see, this is why I'm so hungry at night, because there's a good 5-6 hour gap between lunch and dinner. I work in a pharmacy, so I'm not really able to have food by me all day. So I can't do the small meals. So I track my food, pre-log it. Okay, at lunch, I need to make sure to have a heavier lunch to get me through to dinner. And those are my 2 big meals. And I track everything now. I write, like, this is my workout planner. This is everything. And I write it all out. That way I can keep track of my weights, how I'm increasing, my PRs. Today I finally hit 25 pounds again on my shoulder presses. I was doing that easily before I hurt my shoulder. I'm finally 2 months later able to do it again. So you guys need to log your stuff, get organized, use your tools, get a planner. It helps a lot, I promise. That was just something I started doing this year, and it helps. She was right.
I love these examples because what this is, everything you just described, from your devotionals to how many workouts you have gotten, to how much weight you've improved on, to now you're writing down your eating times in your planner. These are all wins. These are all big wins, I think. We call them small wins, but this is all progress. The scale, we always use the scale for progress, but those are actions that are going to get us to our goals. Those are the most important thing to track. And I guarantee you, if you did not write those things down, you forget.
Yes,
You forget, and then you say, I haven't made any progress. I haven't done anything. This sucks. You start to get down on yourself. You start to say, why am I even doing this? And then you throw in the towel. You quit. But when you write things down like that, you can look back and say, holy crap, I have made so much progress. That's why we have the printable workout trackers. You can copy those down if you want to do it in your own workout journal and you don't have a printer. Print it out. That's what that is, isn't it? Pretty much that big binder. It's all the freaking workouts. Yeah.
Those are my workouts.
All the workouts. Okay. She's going to have workouts for life. Okay. You print out your workouts. You do a mindset for yourself. You do your devotionals. So you have that. Getting your mind right, being positive. That's huge. And then your meals. I mean, literally, that's it. Mindset, movement, food.
One of my biggest things was, we always make promises to our spouse, to our kids, to other people. We're going to fulfill these promises all the time. But we always let go of the promises that we make for ourselves. We make excuses instead. I can't be any better of a mom if I'm not filling my cup and I'm not doing something for me. I can't be any better of a wife if I'm not filling my cup and doing something for me. I can't give all of myself away anymore if I'm not doing something for myself. So today I'm off. It's my 4-day weekend. I still got up at 4:30. I could have slept in with my hubby, but I wanted to get up. I needed to have that time to myself, by myself, in the gym, and I put in an extra long workout today, and I felt great. And when I got upstairs, my hubby was up. We had some coffee. We talked a little bit, and then I got ready. You guys don't feel guilty about doing that kind of stuff. You have to do it for you. If I didn't work out every day, I would be such a B word. I promise you, I would. I am just not a nice person. I really don't like people that much. It's hard. I have an RBF for days. People, approach me at work like, man, I used to think you were so mean and you're really nice. Yeah, I really am nice as long as I get my workout in, I promise. You guys have to do stuff for yourself. So I know it's hard getting up early in the morning, but if I didn't get up, I wouldn't get my workout in, and I'm not going to fill my cup up that way. And that literally was the biggest change, is getting up in the morning and starting my workout. Mm-hmm. Because how awesome do you feel after you do your workout? You feel amazing. Why don't you want to start your day that way?
Yes. And I am such a big believer on how you start your mornings seriously sets your day up. Yeah. I believe it so much. And you kind of described right there, you created a new normal for yourself. Now that if you don't get up and do some kind of movement, you're going to feel like poopy doo the rest of the day. You're not going to be like your homeostasis. And I think that's the hump that's hard to get over, is hard. Starting to feel better doing this instead of that. So like another example, I have 2 ladies, they, maybe had a wedding this past weekend and they kind of, drank too much wine, had some cake. Mm-hmm. They felt horrible because that's not their norm anymore. Yeah. But then they just got back to it because they just felt that bad, and that's when, you're starting to create a lifestyle. At first it is hard because you have to start buying chicken breasts to cook. You have to start actually cooking and not going to fast food. Stop drinking 3 cans of pop a day, getting in more sleep. It's a lot of hard behavioral changes over time. And you've been doing this for 2 years now, like with us. and really got your act together pretty much, you said, like a year ago, even though you were doing the supplements, you were doing workouts, you were doing all of those things, you just have continued to progress over 2 years. And I think, just to kind of sum it up here, and I'll ask you one more question, is it takes time. It's not a quick fix. And I'm just going to use our like programming, for example. If you quit on me, if you don't answer my messages, if you don't use the tools, if you tell yourself you can't do stuff and you tell me you can't do stuff, you're not going to be successful, and you're not going to make a change, and it's not going to work. And I hate to sound mean, but you're a perfect example of someone who I had to tell you, Brandie, you can cook. No one knows how to cook. No one knows how to cook. You can do it. I promise. And sometimes I will say I'm afraid to tell people that I don't know too well, because I don't want to scare them off or be mean, So I think you saying those things, I hope, resonates with people who are kind of hesitant on doing a recipe that I message them or something like that. So
it's about tough love, ladies. I mean, you have to be able to be 100% honest with yourself. Did you just log those 10 M&Ms you ate? Because they count. You need to log those things.
Yes.
And that's stuff that I wasn't logging. And
yes.
Change wasn't happening. And I started logging. I mean, Lindsay can look in my journal from last week. I logged that cake, and I logged that cookie, and I logged that ice cream.
And there's no judgment. There's no judgment. I think maybe sometimes people who don't know me, maybe, I don't know, I don't judge. If you eat pizza, if you eat cake, if you, M&Ms, whatever, I don't judge you. I'm here to coach and help. And you know that.
She likes her donuts, guys. Don't let her.
And pizza, okay?
She likes her donuts and her pizza, and she's going to log it.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly right. So I think that's a good lifestyle tip, and don't be ashamed of certain foods that you eat because of maybe what other people personify or whatever. So last question here for you is a big one. Well, not really, but it's probably gonna be hard for you to nail it. What's your biggest tip for anybody just starting off, or someone who's struggling, or the biggest thing that's helped you? What would you say? Or if you
grace, know that you're just starting out, and it's okay if you fall off the wagon. We all do, but do it for you. Don't do it for anybody else. And if you're not putting in the work, you can't complain about the results you're not getting. You need to be honest with yourself. You just do. And I don't do this for my husband. My husband loved me when I was 40 pounds heavier. I do this for me. I do this because I like how I look. I like wearing the muscles, and it makes me feel good. It gives me confidence. So my biggest thing would be to do it for you and not anybody else.
I love that. And I think that definitely takes the pressure off of comparing to other people, wishing we had certain things, and being grateful for our body and self now, and then working on progressing because we love ourselves enough to improve and become a better person. So like you said, we can serve others better. So I love that tip. That is so true. And we always say fall off the wagon kind of thing, but there's no really falling off the wagon if you get back on the next day, or the next few days. Sometimes we fall off for 5 days, fall off. Just get back on. It's all right. That's why it's a long-term thing. Okay. Is there anything else that you want to add in that we didn't cover?
I guess I would say for supplements, the biggest help for me has been the post-workout stack. I mean, I like to lift weights. I like to lift heavy weights, but it takes a toll on your body. And if your muscles aren't recovering, you're not going to be able to do that day after day. That has, even for my husband, he said, wow, I don't feel so sore the next day, even when I kill him with a Tabata or an EMOM. Oh, I love those. But he isn't sore the next day, and he can move. And those supplements, you guys, it's not them just pushing product. that supplement really helps. And the OptiGreens, I'm really nervous. I haven't had a full dose of OptiGreens in a couple days because I've been waiting for the level 1 before I place an order, but I think I'm gonna have to cave and just do it. So yeah, just if you had to pick, because it's expensive, you have to work it in your budget. Post-workout stack, OptiGreens, my 2 number ones, no matter what, I have to have.
I love that. That's what I was going to ask you, because I do remember another thing when we started off, we didn't want to do any supplements, which I do understand that because there's a lot of just people pushing products kind of thing. But there's a reason why, we've been with First Form for 3 years now and talk about the same things, because the body is the body. Post-workout stack was our first supplement too, mine and Derek's, because we love to work out too. And so that's a perfect example right there. Thank you for pointing that out, because that is definitely one that is something to ease into, because like you said, it is something different, but I promise you there's money going other places that aren't as healthy, that can be pulled back and then go to that. So that's a great point to make. Okay, I don't think we have any questions here popping up. People are agreeing with you. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and sign off. Thank you so much, Brandie, for taking the time out of your long 4-day weekend. Appreciate it so much. And Derek and I appreciate everything you do in the group, from posting like every single morning, you and Skipper, you and Peacock/Skipper, doing that and just driving everyone to become a better person in general. I absolutely love it. And I've loved seeing you grow. I'm going to get all teary, and becoming better for yourself and for your family too, because it does show.
Thank you so much. I couldn't be here if you guys didn't push me, and all you ladies are awesome, and keep doing what you're doing.
That's right.
Listen to doctors.
Thank you, Brandie. All right, we're gonna go ahead and sign off here. I'm sure I'll send you a text here. Okay.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in.